Hey everybody, I'm Abby and this is Sunny D Writes. So I'm back. It's been a little while, evidently. I think I haven't posted since around May of 2020, and I'm sure you could kind of assume why. COVID has been a lot, and during that time I ended up moving back home, which is where most of my videos came from back when I was posting right before I kind of took a little unannounced hiatus. And I guess life is picking up again, so I figured I would try recording on YouTube a little bit more. Here I am, very exciting. I guess the first thing I can kind of tell you guys about is a couple of life updates, because you know a lot of things can happen in a year. The first thing is probably something that you've noticed already if you've watched my videos in the past. Background is a little bit different, which is because I moved. I moved out on my own for the first time. This is not a dorm, this is like a house. There's a lot of stress that goes into it that I didn't realize until I actually kind of took the leap and went for it. Even so, I've been having a great time here. I ended up moving in with some friends that I made in college, and it's just been like a dream come true to be able to live here with friends that I've made like a really genuine connections with, and it just, it feels so nice, and I'm so happy to be here. Kind of along that same line, college is also a thing that's been happening. I just started up my third year last month, and it feels like, oh god, am I old? When I was first posting, I was a first year student in college, so evidently things are a little bit different there. So now that I'm a third year student, I feel like I should have some sort of authority, like I'm an upperclassman, but it's exactly the same. I still feel like there are some places where I just don't know how to get to on campus. I still feel so weird trying to talk to all my professors. I'm super excited for all of my classes though, so I'm like really looking forward to seeing how things are gonna go. It's just nice to be on campus again. I'm just excited to be here in person. I can walk to my classes and I can be in the buildings, which is something that I haven't had since very early 2020. So just the difference is very, I'm hoping that maybe being here in person, maybe taking some classes, focusing on kind of getting life back on track, I guess, will help me kind of boost productivity a little bit, maybe help my writing, my drive, my motivation, my inspiration, things like that. Because I know that it's mostly within my control, as everybody says, as everybody knows, but outside factors do impact me a lot. So I'm just hoping that that'll kind of change things a little bit. Speaking of writing though, I did actually publish an anthology back in December of 2020. It was something that I had been working on for a good amount of time. It includes stories that I had written back in the middle of 2019 before I even started college. So in case you haven't heard of it, it's an anthology titled Chrysanthemum. It is a collection of 10 short stories that I wrote myself, all kind of varying in length, varying in the topics that they address, things that we talk about, but they're all stories that reflect the different stages of grief. This was an anthology that really just kind of captured me right off the bat. I got the idea for it in August. I already had a good amount of stories that would contribute really well to it, and then by December it was ready to go. So I did it. I took the leap, and it was super rewarding. It was kind of scary to put myself out there, I will admit. College has made it difficult for me to kind of keep the train going when it comes to posting things regularly, trying marketing things like that. But the amount of support that I got with this anthology was genuinely overwhelming. With all the other stories that I'm writing right now, I'm working on my second anthology, which I'll be able to mention and talk about later on as it gets a little bit more prominent. For now, it's in the works. In terms of other writing projects, just because this is an update video, so why not just give you everything, you know? Information overload. The main writing project that I have right now is a young adult thriller called The Murder of Elijah Patel. It is a murder mystery, as I'm sure you could guess from the title. And essentially, the premise of this story is that a boy who was the editor-in-chief of his school newspaper, his name was Elijah Patel, showed up dead on a sidewalk one day. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows how he died. The point of view character, her name is Indy Matthews. She was Elijah's kind of second in command, if that makes sense, and she's big into journalism. She's planning on applying to one of the most prestigious journalism schools in the country. She's kind of working on building her portfolio. She's working on things that will make her application a little bit stronger, things that'll make college admissions offices go, ooh, I want that. Elijah's murder happens, and Indy, being Indy, takes that as, I can write about this, because they don't know anything about the investigation. They don't know anything about what happened to Elijah, how he died, anything about the person who killed him. Only thing they know is that it was a murder. And so Indy has decided to capitalize on this. The story kind of follows this whole path of Indy just trying to solve Elijah's murder. She makes a couple of connections along the way, and things just aren't what they seem. Connections run a lot deeper than you think they would. Elijah's been doing some shady stuff, as one might, that would lead to a murder. But the entire story is pretty much Indy deciding that she's going to use Elijah's murder, her friend's murder, for a college admissions portfolio. And that about wraps that one up right now in terms of premise, I believe. I'm in the middle of the rewrite right now. I finished the first draft at about 73,000 words, so I'm hoping to bulk it up a little bit, kind of clarify some things, maybe take out some unnecessary subplots, maybe add in a couple more beefy or more relevant ones. We'll kind of see how that goes. The second long-form story that I'm working on is called The Immunity. It is also young adult. It is a thriller cyberpunk story. The Immunity takes place pretty far into the future. Basically, the premise of this story is that people are living on an island. The people that live on this island are the only people who are immune to a disease that's wiped out pretty much the rest of the world. They're here just to be safe, kind of isolate themselves, because the rest of the world is in a state of disarray. Things have to get cleaned up before it's suitable to live in the rest of the world again. And there are a couple of things that have led to this island developing the way that it has. The main thing that you need to know is that adrenaline and other hormones have become something of a currency. So in this case, where our main characters live, adrenaline is the main currency. It is difficult to get ethically, so many people have decided that ethics don't matter, so they'll kidnap people, drain all of their adrenaline out of them, and then just shove them back into the outside world. The main characters, there are 4 main characters named Nero, Bolt, Catch, and Smith. Nero, Bolt, Catch, they all run an operation together where they actually pay people to come in, have their adrenaline taken from them in a simulation, and then these 3 sell that adrenaline to a buyer. So it still turns them a profit, but they're working on like the ethics of it all. They're just trying to figure out how they can do this without actively contributing to human suffering. So these 3 pair up with Smith, who is a partnered operator, and the 4 of them decide that they're going to kind of make a trip across their little district area to find somebody who can really just crank up the intensity of these simulations to wield an even higher adrenaline production rate. So the issue with this is, I kind of mentioned earlier, ethics are a thing. We're playing into simulated fear with these people for the purpose of profit. So I'm really having fun with this story, kind of writing about different ethical considerations and also problems that these people would have as they go about trying to continue their business and to survive with the currency that they need to survive. So I ended up kind of going about the writing process for this one a little bit differently. Instead of just talking about it and then releasing the finished product, I'm actually updating the story chapter by chapter on Wattpad right now. I ended up taking a hiatus for the month of August because I was moving and that was pretty stressful, but I'm hoping that by the end of this week or next week at the very latest, they'll be able to start posting chapters again. But so far it's been super helpful for me as a writer to be able to post the first draft because I've outlined the story pretty meticulously. So using this outline, I can write each chapter as I had envisioned it. I post and then people give me feedback, and that's super helpful for me as a writer to determine, oh my gosh, what do I need? What is too much? What is not enough here? And I'm really enjoying the process so far. This whole posting live or as I go is unlike anything I've ever tried before. It's a fun new experience. I don't know that I will do it again, but for now, I'm enjoying it. And the third and final story that I'll be talking about today is called Kaleidoscope. This is a choose your own adventure story that I have been working on since I do believe the beginning of probably 2020. It is massive. It's difficult to describe the premise of the story because of how large it is and because of how many different options you can take that lead to 1,000 different plots. But the basic premise of the first section, the guaranteed start, is that you are a princess in a kingdom, and one of the kingdom's cultural norms is that the princess, when she turns 16, has the opportunity to decide if she's going to immediately start her reign as queen or if she's going to explore the world around her and kind of learn a little bit more about that. From there, she can make the decision, does she want to stay and keep exploring and kind of give up the royal title, or does she want to become a queen? that is where you start. So right now, the story is over 100,000 words long. I haven't even outlined half of it yet. It has over 100 endings, and there's just a ridiculous amount of ways you can go. So when you think of the concept, go big or go home, Kaleidoscope is that. We're going big. We did it at home because of COVID, but big. So this is one that's kind of difficult to stay motivated on because it's so massive. I've finished, I do believe, close to 50 endings written in full now. And then once I have the full thing outlined, I have to write the full thing. And then I have to edit the full thing. And then from there, I have to decide how I even want to publish it, because that is going to be, ooh. So it's probably going to be another year or two at least before this one sees the light of day. Although I probably will post little progress updates, little things like that. But for now, I'm having a lot of fun with Kaleidoscope, and that's pretty much all of the major writing projects that I'm working on right now. I have a new one in the works for NaNoWriMo, but I'll be talking about that one in November when NaNoWriMo is actually happening. So for now, these are just the ones that you need to know about. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is a Discord server that I have called Tripping the Right Fantastic. This is something that I had mentioned in some of my previous videos when Tripping the Right was just starting out. However, it's been a good amount of time. And I am super proud to say that Tripping the Right, as of me filming this video, has over 160 members, and that feels huge. It's a community that I'm super proud of. I've taken a lot of time just to kind of build it, to try and make this feeling of a supportive community where writers can come just to make connections, to talk about their writing, to be able to chat with people who have the same kind of experience as them when it comes to writing. We like to run events. We're actually running one right now called Genre Fest. I don't know if it'll still be going by the time I get this video up, but it's something that I'm having a lot of fun with so far. So if you do have an interest in joining Tripping the Right Fantastic, the Discord server, then that's going to be in the link down below. And one other thing that I've been super excited about with this project is that we actually have the numbers to run a zine. So back in July, we actually released our first edition, but that was only available for server members to submit to. The second one, our Halloween zine, if you're seeing this video, even if you're not a part of the server, you are welcome to apply, and I'll have some more information on that as well coming up here soon, probably within the next video or two. But that's also something that I'm really excited about, is just this group community publication. It just means so much to me that our group as a whole was able to contribute to something so large scale, and we were able to give people the opportunity to publish their stories and push them out into the world. And it just, every time I think about it, my little heart just beep. And then one more thing before I talk about this channel specifically, I ended up opening memberships on Ko-fi. So Ko-fi is something that I've had for a while. It's something that I mentioned in the past within other videos that I've posted, but since then they've released a lot of new features, and one of them is memberships. I prefer to keep everything regarding platforms and stuff as concise as I possibly can. So for a while I had Ko-fi, I had Patreon. And then Ko-fi released this membership option, which is very much like Patreon, and I decided to merge. So all of my financial, monetary donation, whatever you want to call it, things are now on Ko-fi. So you can make a one-time donation there, or if you really like my content, if you want to see more and get access to some more behind-the-scenes things, then you can check out my Ko-fi membership options. And all the details are going to be on that page, which I will also link down below. I totally invite you to check it out there, but if not, no hard feelings, such is life. And I actually think that's about it. Life has been a lot as of late, and so I'm excited to get back onto YouTube and to just kind of start posting, chatting with you guys again, and just to start kind of getting myself back into this whole platform, this whole culture, because it's something that I really enjoyed. So moving forward, I think I'm probably going to be posting once a week. I'll do my best. If coursework gets to be too much, then such is life. I'll get back on it as soon as I can, but I'm planning on posting every Friday for now, so you should be seeing this video on a Friday. We'll be kind of going from there. So if there's ever anything that you want me to talk about, whether it's my writing, whether it's writing tips, anything like that, feel free to leave that in the comments below so that I can see it. I'll be sure to respond to you as quickly as possible if I do see it, and we'll just kind of go from there. Other than that, I don't think I have too much more to say. You can follow my Tumblr and my Twitter down below. I'm working on being more active on both of those platforms as well. I'm really just working on being active in general, in case you couldn't tell. But all of the links that I mentioned before will be down below. So in the description, you'll find my Tumblr, my Twitter, my Ko-fi, my Wattpad link so that you can read the Immunity live as I update if you want. That updates every Tuesday and Friday. And other than that, I think that's about it. So if you made it through this entire video, I do really appreciate you watching. I'm excited to be back, like I mentioned before, and I guess I'll see you guys on Friday. Bye!